what you are going to do today?
Yes, I will do that. There are some series of steps because see, if I just type, I'll show you. If I just type multi-domain cluster, I will not get anything. So everyone will say this feature is there, this feature is there, this feature is there. That's it. If you see any blog for that matter,
So what it does,
yeah.
can you give a background about it? What it does, why we go for multi-domain cluster?
See, imagine you are migrating from 2012 to higher versions, maybe 2016 or 2019, whatever it is. Okay.
Okay.
And it is a different application sitting all together in a different domain.
Okay.
And your application is there on some XYZ domain, or your company acquired a new small company. Okay, right?
Okay.
And you have to manage those servers also. So there are two ways to achieve that. One is you have to migrate completely their accounts and everything into your organization, and then get your databases, get those databases from their environment to your environment. That is one thing, right?
Okay.
And the other thing is, instead of doing all this, they can establish a trust. It's not that easy to establish a trust for Active Directory admins because there are a number of challenges. Okay, so if I want to do like that, I need to establish the trust between the domains, and I can manage the missions not by migrating, just by establishing a trust across the domains. That is one more scenario that will be useful, right? And if say for example, I'm just giving you the examples, what I'm getting to my mind, I'm just sharing those examples. You will never establish trust between UAT and prod, right? So prod will have a different domain, and UAT will have different domain, dev will have different domain. Why? Because the group policy rules will be different from each other. So if there is a scenario where they want to test something, and they want to establish the trust between UAT and prod, and they want to test something across the availability groups. Imagine you got that situation. So you can use in that scenario. But the best bet for multi-domain scenarios is configure DAG, because DAG is independent of Windows clusters and independent of domain, everything. So if you get that scenario, you have to go with DAG, the normal DAG, not the traditional AG, what I am showing it to you. But my scenario is, if I do this as part of our curriculum, so you will come to know few things from AD side as well. How to establish trust? Will they be able to communicate? If I show this, this will be similar to domain independent availability groups as well. Means if you configure, if you got a scenario where you have to configure on Linux, because Linux missions are not identical to Windows, right? So in that case, it is work group only. You will not add those missions to domain. So it will be the same thing. And if you have any missions on Windows where they are not part of domain and still you want to establish availability group between them, so the concept remains the same. So these are all the things that can be covered by doing this activity. But thing is, I have not done this activity. So I'm
One
doing it.
question, one question here. See, DAG, we usually go for different domain servers, right?
Yes.
Usually, I'm asking, it is a multi-domain because the one server, the main primary is in one domain, and the secondary, what you called as the
Forwarder.
other primary, yeah, that will be in different domain. So usually the DAG works like that only. For what purpose we need a multi-domain cluster? There will be a something specific for this multi-domain. Right?
That's what I'm saying. So the first example what I gave you is, your company hired a small organization, right?
Okay.
My company, for example, when I worked for Planet, so that company acquired one more company in Switzerland, a payment-based company. Okay, so they have their own domain.
Okay.
So now, if I want to integrate with them, I have two options, right? First option is get the databases from that domain and keep them, I mean, backup and restore to your onto your servers.
To our instance, yeah.
And second option is, if that is a big company, imagine that is a very big company than yours. Okay. So in that case, instead of migrating everything,
Okay.
Somehow Active Directory admins will keep a trust between them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if they can bring the trust between different domains, between
Mm.
XYZ company and ABC company. Okay.
Okay.
So now if they ask you to if they ask you to sync the databases,
Mm.
something like if they want the data of Planet payment to some other payment based company. So
Okay.
you got a scenario now where you are you need to establish always on availability between different domains.
Domain.
That is one scenario. And imagine I told you one more scenario, the production and UAT stuff. Usually production will be sitting in different domain, UAT will be in different domain. But you got
Mm.
a chance where somehow they wanted to test something and they want to configure always on between different domains, just like UAT and prod. Okay. So that is
Okay.
one more helpful scenario. So there are use cases, but this use case is generally less when compared to other scenarios. I'm not denying that. At the same time, the use cases of multi-domain is very less when compared to other use cases. But still,
Okay.
if you get to know how to establish the trust and all, it will be
Mm.
helpful for you to understand if how we are configuring something at AD level, right? If you want to get some knowledge at AD level, you will come to know,
Mm.
right?
Okay. For example, if you're going with DAG in a traditional DAG method, is this applicable to
No, no,
build a trust between different domain?
no, it's not required because DAG is altogether something different. No, 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 no. Oh, okay, you are asking different domains, right? Yeah, yeah. Trust should be there. Yes, you are right.
Yeah,
Trust should
because
be there.
DAG for any
Yeah,
DAG,
yeah.
we are going to configure with different domain. Usually, it will work with the different domain, right? One server in one domain, another server is another domain. So backend, you're going to explain how the multi-domain achieve that configuration in
Yes,
AD,
it
right?
it remains the same because if you see here the statement from Microsoft Docs, they says one WFC is joined. Sorry, each WFC is joined to a different domain. So read this line to see how to configure certificates for distributed availability group. This is
Mm.
domain independent. Okay, one second. Domain, they have given one scenario, but they didn't specify how to achieve this. But yes, you have to establish trust. Let me check with the word trust.
Okay.
Okay, when both WFCs are joined to the same domain, not trusted domains, you don't need to do anything special when you create the distributed availability group. For availability groups and Windows Server failover clusters that are not joined to the same domain, use certificates to make the DAG work. Okay, so you have to create certificates for this to work. So even the scenario what I am showing to you, I have to create certificates and all. It's the same thing. It doesn't differ, but I have to establish the trust now. I need to act as AD admin. Okay, so that is the challenge what I have in front of me. But the biggest challenge for me is I didn't do this on Azure VMs, and I don't know if it works similar to what I did on
To be honest, see, I
yeah.
didn't watch your DAG videos, so I'm going to watch today. But the thing is, like, you already configured DAG in our previous class, right? So did you work the same scenario
No, no.
what you created for
DAG what I
AD?
created is
Mhm.
same
Okay,
domain, but different regions.
same domain. So that's what you didn't work on that
Yeah,
multi-domain concept.
yeah. So that sorry, last class DAG what I created, it was same domain, but
Mhm.
multiple regions. So since I have multiple regions, I have multiple VNets. So for the VNets to talk to each other, I need to create peering. I need to establish peering. So I established peering first. So
Mhm.
they are able to talk to each other. And then I configured the DAG after establishing the peering with the load balancer, because here there will be one load balancer for my, imagine this is 2012 and 2016. I made use of same versions, but it doesn't matter. Even if it is different OS, we can do it. So what I did in my case was 2019, I guess, 2019 and 2019. So I created one AG here and I created one more AG here. And I created load balancer on this for this availability group. And I created one more load balancer on this availability group. And I established DAG between these two availability groups. So
Okay.
when I failover, I did the failover scenario also, where this guy will become forwarder and this guy will become global for
Global primary.
global primary. So I did that also, and I have given so few examples like what happens if something gets broken on for one of the databases. So how to fix that? Even I have shown that also. So it was very good last class what I had.
Mhm.
We covered many things. I had few issues, but somehow I was able to figure it out.
Okay. In our class, we are going to establish DAG with different domain.
So,
One server is in one domain,
so,
another server is
so
in another
now
domain.
what we are doing, it's not DAG. Okay, we
For
can do
for
DAG
preparing
also.
DAG, for preparing DAG.
Yeah. So what we are doing now is same region. Okay. Now the
Mhm.
scenario is same region, but different domains.
Okay.
So if the same scenario, if they ask you to perform across the regions, it's just we need to configure peering. Nothing great. That's the only thing that differs. If it is across the regions, if someone asks you to configure something across the regions, you just need to configure peering. That's the only thing that differs. Nothing else. The other topics remains the same.
Okay, now I got a clear picture.
So now it's a bit challenging for me. So I hope I need to do something here, because if I do something on missions particularly, it will not work. So let me just remove one small thing. I didn't start the missions yet. Let me start first. Adams and Shiva. So welcome back. You missed it on Sunday. I think even Balaji missed it, right?
Okay. I missed on both Saturday and Sunday
Yes, bro.
You are not there on both the
in the
days.
last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Having these calls with them.
I used to tell like the way we configure on uh, virtual boxes, like virtualization tools, right, to simulate the scenarios. It's not the same when I have to do it on Azure VMs. It differs. So what I wrote here, multi-domain. It's not cross-domain. I think it's multi on my blog. So it might work. It might not work. I don't know. Let's give it a try. So this is for multi-domain SQL Server always on availability groups. So my scenario when I created, I have two domains, abc.com and xyz.com. Node 1 is part of ABC, node 2 is part of XYZ. So I need to configure not DAG, the traditional always on. I'm talking just about the traditional always on. So for this, I did long time back. So even I don't know. So I posted this 4 years back. So I have to do the same thing now, but this was done on my local laptop by installing the VMware. So I configured this. So I made use of Oracle Virtual Servers here. So now the same thing has to be done on virtual machines. So I wanted to try this because I wanted to see how to establish trust between different domains. Okay, so once we achieve this, so as I said, my plan is to replicate the on-prem scenario. Like Balaji was asking something, like he wants to perform some kind of migration from Oracle, right? I can install Oracle. I have my Oracle here. For that matter, I installed Oracle on my virtual box. So I can show directly using some SSMA tool and I can bring the data. But I wanted to give something more to that. So what I'm trying to achieve is if it works, again, I'm saying the class if it works. So I have to install one VM and I will install Windows 10 on that VM. And I will go into that machine and I will download the software, Oracle VirtualBox or VMware. So, and I will create missions on that VM. Okay, just like it will be my local laptop. From that point, it will be my local laptop. So I will create the missions and I will establish the communication between these machines and those VMs, what I'm going to create inside that tool, inside the virtualization tool. So it is kind of like on-prem situation, right? So if that is the case, I will create one domain in those machines, and in these machines, I have created one more domain. So if I want to establish trust, how can I do that? So that is what I'm having in my mind. I don't know if I can able to do this, but let's see. So before that, I just wanted to see how it works, at least on 2 different machines on Azure VMs before doing all those things. You got what I am aiming at? Did you any questions? Because it's bit complicated. At
Just
least, yeah.
so
Clear.
currently you
Yeah, please.
okay, thank you. So Vamshi, so you want to just validate it on the two different different regions, two different domains on Azure server. Once it is successful, then we will be doing it by using an on-prem server and Azure server. We want to communicate it.
Very simple, like very simple. If someone is asking you to configure always on between your on-prem and Azure, right? You are
Yeah.
working on both the environments, right? You will be
Yes.
having your on-prem, and if you have VMs on Azure,
Yeah.
definitely you will have something. So if someone is asking you to configure read-only replica, imagine a situation where 2 replicas will be in your on-prem and your
Yeah.
DR replica will be in Azure. Third
Okay.
replica will be is in Azure. So definitely Azure VMs will be in different domain, right? Usually,
Yes. Yes.
or it is possible to connect your Azure machine to the same domain to that of on-prem. So to do that, I have 2 things. I have to establish trust between Azure VMs and your on-prem VM.
Yes.
So that is what I am aiming at. So will I be able to do that or not? I don't know.
Okay.
Adams was asking something. Go ahead, Adams.
Thank you, Vamshi.
No. See, I just said I'm clear with the ideas.
Okay. So let's give it a try. I don't have anything to cross check or to do something. So that's why last night I was searching Google. So, and I got few links how to do it. It's not related to SQL. Uh, it's about how to achieve uh, trust between 2 domains, but this is not on Azure VMs. This is in general, how to achieve trust. So I will try to do the same steps and see if that works for us. Hopefully, if it works, then fine. So we have to do something at DNS level, okay? And after that, we have to establish trust. So this is very new for you, I hope. Since we are all SQL DBAs, we will never touch base domain controllers and how to establish trust and all. If you want to become architect, so at least you should know how to achieve this, right? It will be helpful for you if you want to achieve how to achieve trust and all. Maybe it not be at a great scale because I am not complete AD admin, but we can give it a try. Hopefully it should work. If it doesn't, okay, it's learning lesson for us. Can I move forward? Any questions?
NMC.
Okay. So all this, see, for example, this guy, he's asking us to do zones. It's called as zones inside the DNS. So he's asking to create some zones and all. So it's a new thing for me too. I have not done this on missions Azure VM. So let's give it a try quickly now. So for that, first let me ensure that I don't have any DNS. It's not required, guys. This is just yesterday I was doing something. So I will remove this. I just wanted to ensure. Did I do anything for particularly on SQL 1, SQL 2? NS, okay, nothing is there. And so I have 4 missions now, guys. Multi-domain is the resource group what I created. DC1, DC2, SQL 1, SQL 2. I'm just checking the configurations before doing anything. The DNS part should be empty so that it should be created only at the VNet level. So if you're playing with virtual machines and all, so usually what I do is I will create the VNet first. I will create the VNet. Okay, just like what I have shown you in the previous classes, I will create the VNet. So once I created that VNet, and I will create the domain controllers after that. Once I created this DC1, sorry, this DC1 and DC2, I will get the private IPs, right? So private IP will be always with 4. The first IP what we get from Azure is the last octet will be 4 because 1, 2, 3 are reserved. So I need to get this private IP, this domain controller private IP. And if we have one more domain controller, like in our case, so I will get one more private IP. So get these private IPs, okay, and go to your virtual networks, and then go here and configure the DNS here. If you do it here, it will be applicable for all the connected devices. So you need not do for individual machines. That's why it's recommended to configure DNS at virtual network level. So all the connected devices will get the same DNS. If not, what you have to do is you have to go to each machine. Say for example, DC2, you have to go to the DC2, go to the networking section, get that network interface card, and go here to the DNS, and you have to write the custom DNS. Again, you have to do this for all the missions. So instead of doing this on all the missions, it's very easy to do it at virtual network level. So all the connected devices will get the same DNS. Okay, so I just did that. So now I will show you my missions. Let me connect to each missions. DC1 first. This is a huge topic. I don't know if we can complete this by tomorrow also, but let's see how it goes. If no errors, then fine. One is DC1. DC1 is part of ABC domain, and SQL1 is part of ABC domain. Let me show you one more thing. Virtual machines. If you see here, resource group is multi-domain. All are under same region, North Europe. It's not across the regions. If it is across the regions, the only thing is we have to establish peering. So already this topic itself is very complicated. And if I go multi-region here, it will be more hectic for me. So that's why I just opted with the same region. Nothing great, but we can do it. If this works, definitely I can give it a try. That's not very difficult. This is my DC1, and I'm part of, one second. Yeah. I was teaching weekdays classes for a kind of beginners or like maybe 6 years guys. So I was surprised to see the answers from them guys. Really. I was showing something on basics of query tuning, like when will I get cluster index scan, seek, those things. But the people are absolutely reluctant. They didn't understand what I'm talking about. Was shocked to see that it was a surprise thing for me. I don't know. I think you guys definitely have to work on performance tuning, right? If you are growing as a DBA down the line, you should know what is performance tuning, and you have to tune the queries. And if that is the case, at least you have to know something about operators and all. But when I was saying the basics, it was very basics, but people were not able to understand that also. I don't know what they are doing in real time. Okay, so this is my DC1. I think Balaji, you are part of that group, right? So you can go through that video if you want.
Which one, bro?
Azure classes, something Azure week classes, or
Okay.
I've seen you. You joined that group, but you can go through the yesterday's video. Not yesterday, Thursday. Thursday, I went with some basics of query tuning.
Mm-hmm.
So you can watch it out if you want.
Sure,
Madam,
sure.
already you said he's an expert, so it's of no use.
Yes.
Actually, I love that topic, like
Mm-hmm.
showing the index architecture right from the scratch.
Okay. I think you have recorded the video, right?
Yes, it's there.
Okay. All down.
SQL1. It's always fun to work on BT issues. But what I realized,
mostly trial and error.
Yes. So what I realized from my end is, if we don't know T-SQL, it's really difficult to troubleshoot PT issues, because you have to write the queries in different ways, right? If you're having problem with table variables, you are going with temporary tables. If you are having problem with temporary tables, you are going with CTEs. So if you know about T-SQL, then you can give better solutions. But if you don't know T-SQL, it's hard.
Yeah, right.
X, Y, Z. Okay, I'm just logging into the machines. I didn't do anything. So SQL1, abc.com, SQL2, xyz.com. That I wanted to show you. Let me go to SQL1. I think this is SQL1. What is that? Host name, SQL1. Okay, ABC, SQL1 is part of abc.com. Watch out this primary DNS suffix, guys. It plays some role now. Primary DNS suffix is abc.com. Now I'm going to my SQL2. It's already there, XYZ, but so SQL2 is part of xyz.com. So that is how the missions are configured. So the first and foremost step, I'm just following my blog and parallelly the other articles what I have to establish this trust between the domain controllers. So the first step is, okay, I have one more document with me. I just created yesterday. For myself, I have written notes. I didn't do, but hopefully it should work. The first step is go to your node 2, go to the other domain. So here are my steps. Currently, my node 2 is part of XYZ. I think someone left or joined. I got some bell icon. So, okay. Okay, currently my node 2 means SQL2 is part of xyz.com. So the first step is go to the node 2, I mean SQL2, and click on my computer, properties, change the settings, change more, add the primary DNS suffix of abc.com and restart the mission. So that is the first step, right? So I am on node 2. First step is right click my computer. I mean here, PC, properties, change the settings, click on change, again click on more. That's what I have written there, right? So click on more. Here, instead of xyz.com, keep this as abc.com. This is the first step. I have two machines, node 1, sorry, SQL1 and SQL2. SQL1 is part of ABC, SQL2 is part of XYZ. Now I came to SQL2 and I'm changing the primary DNS suffix of SQL2 from XYZ to ABC. So this should be done as the first step. Okay, click on OK. Okay, and I have to restart it to take this effect. Restart now. So once I restart this machine, now my node 2 primary DNS suffix will be abc.com. Okay, that is the first step that I have to do. Let's wait for it to come back. It's very complicated. Hopefully it should work. Still, guys, when I'm connecting to XYZ domain only. I just changed the primary DNS suffix. I didn't change the mission's domain from XYZ to ABC. It's still part of XYZ domain only.
Vamsi, on these machines, do we have SQL clusters?
Yes, I expected this error. No, I didn't create the cluster yet.
Okay.
I didn't create. So see, now straight away, I got the bouncer. I know it's not similar to virtualization platform. It's something differs always in Azure. Okay, let's give it a try. I know what the error is. If it doesn't work, I will connect normally. Okay. So if you get this error, you will rarely get this error. Usually you will not. But if you get this error, you better log in without domain credentials. Okay. So just connect. Because since we changed the primary DNS suffix, so it is not allowing me to go with XYZ. So let me just connect normally first without passing any credentials and see how it looks. Oh God, even that is also not owning. The remote computer you're trying to connect requires network level authentication. If you're an administrator, you can disable network level authentication by using them. Okay, it's tricky thing. Remote computer that you're trying to connect requires. You can disable NLA by using the options on the remote tab of the system properties. Okay. I think system properties is somewhere here, NLA. I did this in the past. If not, I need to run, I need to run this command and I can disable the network level authentication. Straight away it said it can't. Anything here that I can do? Okay, let's give just once. I'll try to see if it connects. Dot slash, or it is equal to mission name slash login name. Finally, I'm in by using that mission name. So first step, guys, it's a series of complicated steps, but if you find it difficult, you can ask me questions. Even for a few steps, I don't know the internals because these are something beyond my scope, but I'm just following the steps what I wrote to myself long time back. And here are the steps for the same to achieve. This is not related to SQL. This is related to AD. Okay, the first step, what I did is go to your second node and change the primary DNS suffix from XYZ to ABC. So, and restarted the machine. So that is what I did. So this is the same thing what I wrote to myself on XYZ, update the primary DNS to abc.com. This step should be done only on one node, not on the other node, because SQL 1 is already part of abc.com, right? So we have to do it only for SQL 2. Now the second step is go to abc.com and register the SQL2 by adding the DNS record. So now we are updating the primary domain by entering the SQL2 details by creating the DNS record. DNS will help us to identify the mission name with IP. So I need to have my DNS records in place to do this. Okay, this will be my second step. So if I go to my document also, so once done, install the failover clustering feature on node 1 and node 2. I did this. I just installed the feature. I didn't add the missions. I just installed the feature. And also if you run ipconfig/all on node 2, you will see the primary DNS suffix as abc.com. So I am on node SQL 2. So if I run the same command, previously it was showing XYZ. So let me ipconfig/all. So now it should show me abc.com, SQL to abc.com. Okay. That is what I just wanted to check that. So now we need to DNS. Now we need to go to the DNS on AD1 and update something by creating the new entry. So it has to be done like this. So go to your abc.com. I'm going to my abc.com. Where is it? This one, right? This even, yeah, this is abc.com, and I'm opening the DNS manager. I can open it using the shortcut, or I can do
Is
this.
it the DC mission?
Yes, AD and DC are running on this. AD and DNS are running on the same mission. So here is my DNS. I can click on this, or I have the shortcut. I think it is DNS manager.msc something. Okay, DNS manager mgr. Okay, I don't know. I forgot the shortcut, guys. It's okay. Something DNS. Click on DNS and click on DNS manager. I think DNS mgm or something. This is my DNS for ABC domain. So now what they are asking to do is go here. I'm going slowly. go here, go to abc.com and register the SQL2 by adding the DNS record. So it's the same thing what I wrote to myself. Now we need to go to the DNS records in AD1, open the DNS manager, go to your forwarded lookup zones and choose the abc.com and create the new host. Okay, so now I'm going here, go to the forwarded lookup zones and click on abc.com and create the new host. This is the option that I have to do. And now I'm updating the IP and the mission name of SQL2. So I'm clicking on new host. Okay, the name is SQL2 and the IP address is going to be 10.2.0.5. So this is what they are asking us to do. So DNS manager, forwarded lookup zone, abc.com, new host. Again, same thing here, node to IP address and click on add host. This is the second step. First step, changing the primary DNS suffix. Second step, creating the DNS record for node 2 on abc.com. So I'm adding the host here. And since we added one record, we have to update the DNS. So here, click on here and then click on update server data files because you added something. Even if you see on the on-prem, if you change the password, sometimes AD team will ask you to wait for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. They said it needs to get replicated, right? You might have heard about that. So it will take some time for your whatever the thing they ask, anything like password change or something. So they ask us to wait. In the similar fashion, since we created a new record, it's always better to update the server data files. Once the update is done, it might take some time to get replicated. And this will be my second step. So I just completed the second step. Okay, now it's time to create the cluster as both the nodes primary DNS suffixes are same. So now I have to create the cluster. Any questions here, guys? I know it's a bit complicated. Even for me, it's looking dangerous, but hopefully it should move on. Any questions? No. Okay. So we completed the first, we completed the second, third, fourth is done. So now the fifth part, I need to create the Windows cluster by adding the two nodes. So hopefully let's give it a try. If Windows cluster gets created, I think we achieved most of the part, and then we have to establish the trust. So where am I? So it should be SQL1. So yeah. So to create the cluster, I need to add that feature. I did this yesterday to save some time. I didn't create the cluster. It's just a feature what I added. Okay, create the cluster. Next, browse. I'm going to advanced. Since this mission is now SQL2 is now SQL2.abc.com, it should appear here. If it doesn't, then I'm gone. It's like this. Okay. Let's go to node 2 and see primary DNS suffix is ABC or something else. It is ABC only. We saw that, but still it is ABC. What is that? What I added? SQL2. What is that IP of SQL2? 10.2.0.5. Okay, and this guy should, the entry what we created SQL2. That's correct. It's SQL2.abc.com 10.2.0.5. No need to worry about security. We are not worried. But this mission is not appearing here. Let's give a try from this fluadmin.msc. This is different domain, but let's try to see if this appears. Create cluster. Next, browse. Okay, let's wait 1 second. Here it is abc.com only. Okay. That means on my computer, it's not showing. Okay. dsa.msc. It's only showing SQL1. It's not showing SQL2. That's why it is not appearing there. How much time will it take here to get replicated? Usually it will take some time. But what is that sometime? I don't know. How about that machine? DC2 is here. dsa.msc. This is XYZ. Only SQL2 will be there. Still it is appearing here. And about DNS. SQL2 entries here. Okay. E1.local DNS record. We did that. Updated that. And now it appeared for me. But here it is not appearing. As expected. It's not available. As long as it's not available, it can't fetch. Okay, let's do one thing. This should not be done, guys, but I'm just giving it a try to see if that works or not. SQL2 derogation location diary. Okay. Let's go to SQL1 and see if this appears. Browse, advanced. Let's give it a try. Let's see if that works or not. Okay. Next. I don't want to run the test. It's okay, fine. Cluster name, something. What is this? Multi-domain, right? Multi-domain cluster. The thing is that in on-prem, we will get the server name and IP, right? For Windows cluster also, but this will not appear in Azure VMs because it will take the IPs of one of the machines. So that is also one more challenge. So it took the IP of at least one node. So it took both the IPs. This now is appearing like multi-subnet, right? Multi-subnet. Yes, these are part of multi-subnet only. So 2 is fine. It's expected. So let me change this to properties, and I will change this to 10.1.0.10. What I'm doing is something crazy stuff. And this is 10.2.0.10. Apply. Okay. Bring online. Will it work? Let's see that first. Okay. So at least we created the Windows cluster. It is working. Can I fail over it and see if that works or not? I'll go to more actions, move the cluster to node 2 and see if that picks that up or not. Online pending. Online. Okay, that's fine. Cool. So now we have a cluster, Windows cluster, where SQL 1 and SQL 2 are part of that cluster. Okay. Any questions here, guys? Are you there?
The only
Yeah.
thing is we had manually created the
Only thing
computer
is we created manually. It has to get updated on its own, but I don't know the time. Like as I said, this is a new record that you added to DNS. So DNS will take some time
yes
to update itself. So instead of that, I created manually to prevent that the time, to save that some time. But in my practicals, what I did, I'm pretty sure I didn't create this. It came on its own, but
yeah
it was on my machine, so it took some time probably. Okay, let's move on. And establishing the trust is the difficult part here, right? I'm not talking about something related to SQL. This is something related to AD. So once we establish the trust, that is the most challenging part. So at least we have the Windows cluster now. And the next part is about, see, I wrote this. So here, if you're doing it in on-prem, you will get the cluster name and IP. It will ask you to enter the IP and the name. Here on Azure VMs, it will ask only the name. It will not ask you to enter the IP because it will take the IPs that are participating, the nodes that are participating in the cluster. So it took the IPs of both the machines since this is part of different subnet. But here that was not the case. So now it's time to install SQLs around both the nodes. Yes, so we already have SQL installed. I thought everything is done and tried to proceed with creation of availability groups. However, I was not able to as the database is not getting joined. So the question is, we need to add this. We'll have one service account on one domain and one more service account on one more domain, right? So I need to establish trust for the endpoints to talk to each other. So now it's time to create trust between them. So once we create the trust, then I will create the always on part. So this is what I have to, again, there are some series of steps that I have to do to make this talk to each other. Okay, so let's give it a try, guys. I'm really feeling nervous. The first step, what they are asking to do is, I'm just following this tech crumble something. So they have wrote how to create Windows trust between two domains. So this guy is having AD server name as this, and this one is something AD, some abc.com. This is some xyz.com. So these are those IPs and everything. So the first step, what they are asking is, go to your DNS manager and create something called as conditional forwarder. So even I wrote the same thing. So we need to enable trust between them. So open the DNS manager on AD2 and click on the conditional forwarders, and then create a new conditional forwarder by passing the details of the counterpart. So since I am on AD2, I mean DC2 in my case, which is xyz.com, I have to enter the details of abc.com. And if I'm doing the same step on the other part for AD1 or DC1, I have to enter the details of xyz.com. So I have to create conditional forwarders to establish the trust. So let's do this and see if that works or not. on Azure VMs. So open the DNS manager, right click on the conditional forwarded, select the new conditional forwarded and add the conditional forwarded DNS domain and the IP address. Okay, I'm doing this. So I'm going to DC1 and I have to update the xyz.com. So I'm going to the conditional forwarders. It is empty. So I have to create one. So here I have to enter the details of xyz.com and IP and everything. So I'm just following the same instructions. So it is xyz.com, the IP. The domain is xyz.com and the IP is 10.2.0.4. The server with this IP is not authoritative for the required zone. This is what you will get also. I think the server with this IP, you might see a red cross once you add the IP address of the DNS server, but don't worry. After adding the DNS server and do a refresh of the added conditional forwarded, go to properties, click on edit. You will see a green successful icon IP in the IP address field. Let's do that. Click OK. Refresh. Go to properties. Now it looks good. But see this will not appear here. Server FQDN. If we are doing this on our virtual machines, this is something different. This is on cloud, right? Conditional forwarded at DNS server that this server can use to resolve the DNS queries for the records in the specific domain. So I created the conditional forwarded so that I can, but to establish the trust, I should have the details of the other domain here. So I just did that. I think this FQDN is something what I'm worried about, because in my system, server FQDN is the mission name itself. See here, this is my mission name when I did this. This is the IP and this is the mission name, domain controller name, and it was okay. But here it is showing something else. Properties, dc2.cloud. Okay, let's move on and see if that works or not. As I said, this is the first time I'm doing, so I don't know if this works or not. So on node DC1 we completed. Now we need to go to DC2. I think I'm on DC2. Let me double check. Yes. So conditional forwarder. Okay, it is abc.com and the IP address is 10.1.0.4. Click on OK and refresh it. And sorry, go to properties, click on edit. The green button should appear and it says OK. So we created the conditional forwarders as per the documentation or as per this article. So follow the same steps on other domain, verify the validity. Now we are done with conditional forwarders, right? And let's jump into the Active Directory domains and trust of the parent domain to configure the trust. So now we have to establish trust between two domains. So as this is two-way trust, means on both bidirectional trust, means xyz.com has to trust ABC and ABC has to trust xyz. In the, there are few scenarios when I was working for Tesco. So there was single directional trust, means if I want to communicate from production to UAT, I used to have the trust. I can create the users, because AD can be configured at different ways. Bidirectional trust is there, unidirectional trust is there. So here in our case, we are going with bidirectional, means I have to trust both the domains. So hopefully now I am going to, now we are done with conditional forwarders, and now let's jump into Active Directory domains and trust of the parent domain to configure the trust. This is a two-way trust. You can configure this from the child domain as well. Right click on the domain and go to properties. Okay, so that is the step. So if I come to my blog, so perform the same action, it's done now. Once the above mentioned steps are done, open the Active Directory domains and trust on AD2 and right click and open the trust tab. Okay, let's open the Active Directory domains and trust first. Where is it? I don't even know. Active Directory domains and trust. Active Directory domains and trust, this guy. Okay, so go here. I think we are on which machine? DC1. I opened the Active Directory domains and trust. I wanted to double check n number of times because I'm doing this for the first time. Once the above mentioned steps are done, open this. Yes, we did it. And I open it on DC1 instead of 82 and right click on xyz.com. Okay, and open the trust tab. Okay, what this guy is saying. Go to the properties. Okay, go to the trust tab and click on the new trust. Welcome to the new trust. So you have to enter the trust details. Okay. Now let's see what it is showing. Right click, go to the properties and go to the trust. So nothing is there, right? So now I have to create the new trust. Click on the new trust and specify the abc.com under the name dialog box. Then select the forest trust and trust type as trust type. Okay. Okay. Let's do this slowly, steadily. New trust. Next. So my counterpart for abc.com is xyz.com. So xyz.com. Next. So it is not external trust. We have the forest between the so there are two types again here. Looks like external and forest trust. So I have to select forest trust. Don't ask me what is external trust and what is forest trust and all. I'm not good with these topics. So select the forest trust as the trust type. Let me go here and select the forest trust. So it should be two-way because both should be communicating. So select the two-way direction of trust. Okay, select the two-way trust. And then this domain only or both the domains. So it has to be both the domains. Select both this domain and specify domain under the sites of the trust. So I'm going this. Okay, next. I have to enter the username of that guy. So enter the username and password. In our case, it will be abc/administrator. Since we are doing it on abc, it has to be xyz. So xyz/c and the password. And then select forest wide authentication under outgoing trust authentication. So forest wide. Okay. Scope, and then comes the scope. Do this twice. Okay. Scope forest. Okay. Then click next. Next. Do you want to confirm the outgoing trust? Posted, select yes, confirming the outgoing trust, and then incoming text. Okay, let's see. Yes, I have to confirm. And incoming trust, yes, I'm trusting both the domains. Finish. Okay, now we did this. I just a series of steps. What I wrote long time back, I did the same. Now let's see how it looks. Properties, trust. So it is there. Now we will see one thing. Let's create a account, service account for SQL here. Go to users and create one service account. SQL SVC. SQL SVC. Next. Next. Finish. So this is on AD1, sorry, DC1. So in the similar fashion, I have to do it on DC2. DC2 is here. Okay, and open the dsa.msc and create one user. Users, new user. Name this as SQL SVC, just like the same account what we have. SQL SVC, but this guy is part of XYZ domain. Okay, finish. It's done. Now I am going to my SQL 1 and SQL 2. SQL 1, SQL Server Manager. What is this version? 2017. And I'm changing this to this is ABC, right? So it has to be. See, I'm able to see the trust. If you see in real time, you will see two more like this, right? The main domain and the other domains. So it is appearing. So that means we have configured it properly. I believe so. So I'm selecting the entire directory. I will select the ABC because this guy should be part of ABC, SQL SVC. So it is SQL SVC @abc.com. Guys, any questions? Or is it super boring or waste of time? I don't know.
It's long back we had done these things.
I mean, did you configure like
Not in
multi-domain?
this. No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
There's a few steps that you are showing us.
Yeah.
It's a part of a domain, right? By adding an child domain like this.
Yes. Yeah.
These things we done it long back, but we are able to, at least we can remember something.
Okay. This is XYZ. Okay, I have to do it on SQL2, right? So go to SQL2. Cancel this. Cancel. No one has done this, guys. So I'm not self-boasting. If you go and search on the internet, you will never see any article related to this. I wanted to do this and see how it looks. SQL Server, what is that? Manager 14. SQL services properties. So now if I click, it should appear here also. Oh, okay, it is asking the credentials. Let's just wait. So it is showing abc.com here, right? I am part of XYZ. This mission is showing ABC only.
No,
Okay.
236 is ABC.
Okay, it is XYZ also. It is showing both. So SQL SVC. It's asking for password. Okay. I have to establish the trust only on one side. So once if I do it on one DC, it will take the counterpart automatically. Okay, apply. So let me restart this. And before restarting, I just wanted to enable the SQL, availability feature as well. And now I will restart. I forgot to do this on node 1. So SQL 1. Before doing anything, I wanted to test one basic thing at SQL level. So if that works, I think we can go ahead and do our configuration. Okay, so let's do that. Open the management studio. Where is this? Adams, Balaji, how you are feeling, guys? Please talk. Even I'm feeling very nervous.
No, see, actually, these things are new to me, actually.
Even for me too. Balaji, how you are feeling?
This is also new to me.
Yeah, establishing the trust and all, it is not being done by us. So something new for me too.
Yeah.
I have to review the videos again.
Yeah. See, since we are recording everything, it's just a series of steps we need to follow. But understanding the correct steps is the critical thing. So luckily, if I go here again, if you see the other Microsoft document says you have to create the zone transfers and all, right? So if I follow this documentation, I don't know if I can able to do this. I just believed on creating only the conditional forwarders. I didn't trust this. So that's why I just followed this guy. I think long time back, perhaps I might have followed this article. That's why I wrote the same steps here. I'm not the DC admin, right? So somehow I was able to trust one website and it worked for me, luckily. So I'll just Arun Lakmal. Thanks, Kaya. He's from Sri Lanka. That's good. Okay, so it's still opening. Now we can configure DAG also. It doesn't matter. But I just wanted to see how the traditional AG works. And if that works, it will be great. Let's create one more users, just 2 users to see how it works. Create user, new user. I will say SQL1. SQL1. I'll give some random password. 123 123. Yes, will not allow. Okay, this is SQL1 is there on ABC, and I will create one more user here by name SQL2, and let's see whether my management studio will be able to allow me to create that login. SQL2, okay. Password. Done. So let's go here. Management studio, yes. I'll connect with SQL authentication. Remember the password. Okay, SQL1 is there now. And if I go to security and go to logins, I wanted to add our service account as sysadmin. So since SQL1 is part of ABC, so what is that service account what we created? ABC/SQL SVC. So this guy should appear naturally. If I go here, search and locations, entire directory, that's good, man. It is showing one good thing. It should be SQL SVC. This is straightforward. This guy will work. I'm granting him sysadmin. I don't want to take risks because endpoint creation and all will depend on service account, and that service account should have connect permission on endpoint. So that's the reason I'm granting him sysadmin as this is demo. But now I have to create XYZ also. I have to go to XYZ and see SQL SVC. Okay, and I'm granting him sysadmin. See, so now SQL1 is able to talk to XYZ domain also. It's able to create the members that are part of XYZ. So I created some test login, right? I will not give any permissions. I will just see if that works or not. It will work, but just I wanted to show you. So that guy is part of SQL2, right? So SQL2, go here. This guy is appearing, create, boom. Just like what we used to do it on on-prem. In on-prem, if we go here and create login, you will see multiple domains. So in the similar fashion, I have 2 domains now, ABC and XYZ. I can create XYZ login on abc.com domain. So SQL1 is part of ABC, but still I am able to create the logins that are part of another domain, XYZ domain. So I have to do this same action on SQL2. I should have clicked on remember password. I forgot that. So login, new login, search. It should be XYZ first. It is SQL SVC. This guy, I'll give him sysadmin. And for the test user, I'll just create it. I won't grant any permissions. SQL 1 is the guy. So it's part of ABC domain. SQL 1, check names, it's appearing, cool. That's it. Okay, now we achieved something great today. And now it's time to configure always on. To configure always on, I see in my post, I created up to these steps. And now I said, once the above steps are done, we need to create logins for SQL Server under node 1 like service account and grant the permissions and endpoint. That's it. I didn't want to show you the rest of the part. It's just the always on creation. So that's the reason I didn't do this. Now we can do it ourselves. Once we establish the trust, it's straightforward. That's what I believe. Any questions here, guys, before configuring always on?
No, brother. No. Like only one question here. Vamsi. So as of now, you have done with the trust creation, right?
Yes.
Between the two domains.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're going to create DAG.
Not DAG. Don't see. You are under the impression that I have to create only DAG across multiple domains. It's not required.
For normal always on also it will
work. It will work. So normal always on also will work. It's not that I have to create a DAG for always on to work. It's not the case. Even the traditional always on will work, but this works only from 2016 only, not the before versions. Okay, I will ask you one question. This is a bit tough question, but just wanted to see, like, maybe Adams, for you it might sound difficult. So Siva and Balaji, so have you seen any multi-subnet cluster for SQL 2008 R2 or 2008? Not 2012, before 2012.
I think I worked on one of the State Bank of Mauritius server I worked.
So I'm asking SQL version, not Windows version. So SQL version should be less than 2012. And did you ever work on multi-subnet clusters on 2008?
No. I did get.
So Shiva, there is one thing. So even though I'm telling you because I know how Windows comes and how SQL works, okay. Windows was supporting multi-subnet from 2008. Windows 2008 does support multi-subnet, but SQL doesn't support 2008. SQL doesn't support multi-subnet in 2008 version. Okay. So it started supporting multi-subnet from 2012. SQL Server 2012 supports the multi-subnet. But if you want to achieve in 2008, there is something called as stretched VLANs, and it has to be done from network admin side. So you said you have done some for banking purpose, right? If that is the case, they should have done something called as stretched VLANs. I mean, they are stretching the LANs so that they can configure multi-subnet on SQL. But I don't know how it they have done. If I don't know, like seriously, it is not that easy and it's not possible because SQL supports only from 2012. But someone said it is possible on 2008, provided if you can configure stretched VLAN. I don't know what is the stretched VLAN. It is completely a network term. And even if I achieve the stretched VLAN from SQL side, what I have to do, I am not sure. So I just wanted to raise this point. In a similar way, until 2016, we don't have the support for multi-domain SQL always on, traditional always on. So from 2016, we can do this. So 2016 started supporting domain independent availability groups, multiple domain availability groups. All these features are from 2016. So if you have 2014, you can't do this. I just wanted to compare both. Yes. Questions? Can I proceed with always on creation?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to SQL 1. This is SQL 1. And before that, all the prerequisites I should do. One thing is nt/system. Grant him sysadmin. Of course, it's test. So I'm taking that liberty. And grant him sysadmin. Okay. And now What else? Port numbers 5022. Of course, firewall is disabled, but still I don't want to take risk. 5022. 1433 should be there. So I need to add 5022. The other node as well. If there is any article on the internet for multi-domain, it is from Edwin. I don't know how to spell that guy's name. Sorry. Sarmentio or something. So he is the expert on always on. Alan Hart and Edwin Sarmentio. Those two guys are really experts. I'll show that guy blog 1 second. Edwin, this guy. How to pronounce this? Sarmiento. Sarmiento. So open MS SQL tips. So these are all the articles what he has written. See how many he has written. And mostly he works on HA and DR part. So he has configured SQL Server HA on Linux, and he has configured from 2008 onwards clustering, everything. So many things are there. For you, Balaji, since you are very keen with the distributed availability groups across the domains, this guy has written something. I didn't go through this. Let me check what is it. This is part 2. Migrate. So where is the part 1 then? This one. Yeah. If you want, you can refer to these articles. So this is the same thing. This is testdomain.com. This is 15cinc.com, some other domain. So 2 different Windows Server failover clusters. And now he is configuring DAG between them, between failover clusters on different Active Directory domains. You can, if you want, you can check this out. Okay, so I'm just showing you since you asked me. Like now in our case, it is gonna be straightforward always on, I think. I hope there should not be any errors. So did I miss anything, guys? Prerequisites sysadmin I added for the service account, and for the NT authority 5022 port is being opened. What else? Oh, we are on 2016. Okay, so we are on 2016, and for this to work, now the real challenge for you guys. I think someone attended multi-subnet. Adams was there. Shiva, you are also there, right?
Yes.
Now we are on
Subnet
now we are on multi-subnet. Don't ignore that part, because I have 2 subnets. And if that is the case, should I make use of always load balancer?
maybe we can use.
Not required. See,
Okay.
if you have multi-subnet, that is the advantage. You don't need to configure load balancer.
Yes.
Okay, so let's come in and let's create some dummy database. Hopefully, I love Mother India. Let's go with India. Task, backup. 3 of us are not in India and we are saying Mother India. Qatar. He's now, Balaji, where are you now? Qatar or Dubai?
I'm in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, okay. Okay, let's give it a try. Availability group, AG test. India, okay. Remember the password. I'll make this sync. And first I will create without listener. Okay, and then we will configure listener later. Automatic seeding, yes, is equal to. Now, as part of this, it will check if it is able to create 10 points or not, right? Since we added the service account before itself, it should work without any issues. Let's see. Okay, done. So let's check the health. This is without listener, guys. So looks fine. Now it's time to create listener. I'm going to listener, add listener. Listener name, what can I say? Multi-domain, right? I'll just give listener, multi, just give it listener. Port 1433 should be static. And now I'm giving, for the first network, I'm giving it as 11, 10.2.0.11. For Windows IP, what did I give? It is 10, okay. And then for another, it is 10.1.0.11. Okay, create, okay. Let's see if I get any error. Probably I will get, because, oh, went fine. I thought my perception is little wrong here. Okay, cool. It's there. Let's go to our Active Directories and see where the object is. dsa.msc. This is fine. Where is dsa.msc? Going to abc.com and going to computers and refresh. The object is not appearing here. If you see, listener object should appear here, right? And even the Windows cluster should appear. Nothing is appearing. This is one thing what it differs. Okay, how about DNS? How it looks? DNS forward lookup zones abc.com.
Here it is there.
Here it is there. Because there is nothing wrong, guys, because under the covers, Microsoft has implemented two things. So when you create the object, so for a DNN, it will create only at the DNS manager level. You will not see at the DSA, where the Active Directory level. So it looks like the same thing for multi-subnet also. So listener is there, and this multi-domain cluster is also there. And let's go to the counterpart, DC2. And let me close and open this again, just to be on a safer side. dsa.msc. See what are the computers, only SQL2. SQL1 is not there because we made the primary DNS suffix for SQL2. So that's why you will see only SQL2. And let me go to DC2 and go to DNS manager and go to forward lookup zones, xyz.com. Here we have only DC2 and SQL2. We don't have the other records. So all the records are now on abc.com domain. That's Windows cluster and SQL listeners. Okay. So let me go to my cluster and see if I'm able to connect or not. To connect, where should I do the checks? I'll connect from node 2 because primary is node 1. SQL cmd -s lsnr. As expected. So what is the wrong what I'm giving? I didn't pass one parameter. Multi-subnet failure equal to true. It's not there. Okay. Even if it is not there, it's not coming. That's super. Don't worry. I know how to fix this probably. Yeah, it is not working. Fine. At least
maybe the length of the time should be increased 100 seconds or something.
It's not a problem with the length. I'm pretty sure. It's the problem because we didn't configure that at the portal level. On the portal, I didn't configure, right? I have to configure that to work. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Since you attended for multi-subnet, you should be knowing this. I'll show you that in a second. So it will fail. Let's give it a try. And in the meanwhile, let's connect it from primary and see if this works at least. It should not work.
PowerShell script you're saying?
No. PowerShell script is for DNNs and VNNs. Okay. This is not either of them. So this is just multi-subnet where we have to add one more IP configuration to the network interface card. I'll show you that. You'll see if you have gone through my video classes, you should have known this. So see, now the listener is connecting only on primary, right? If it is not connecting from secondaries. SQL1 is primary. That's why I'm able to connect from primary. And if I go to my secondary, it won't connect. Even if you add 100, 5,000, it doesn't matter. After 100 seconds, it will fail. Okay, so let's wait for it to get failed. And I will fail over this and I will show you if I'm able to connect from SQL 2. It will connect only on SQL 2 and it should not connect from SQL 1. Let's try that also. I should not have added 100. I should have come up with some small number. I'm taking this time waste. Let's give some small number, maybe 25. It will not work, Siva. I'm pretty sure. Why to waste time? Okay, let's go and do the failover. And from node 1 is connecting now. It should not connect after the failover. Let's give it a try. Going to always on, selecting the secondary and failing it over. Let me open the clue admin so that you will see this. This is good thing, man. Right? Let's wait for it to come in. Where am I? I think I'm on node 1, right? Yeah. See, SSMS is dead, so I'm on node 1. Just to see host name, SQL 1. Okay. Clue admin. See, even the clue admin is not visible. Okay, this is funny. Yes. Clue admin .msc. Okay, connect to the cluster. Let's give it a try. Cluster on the server. Okay, cool. Multi-domain, it's fine. What about the roles? AG test. Okay. Listener, one should be up and one should be down. Okay, let me fail over now. Why it is not appearing on node 1? Naturally, it should appear on its own. I should not click on connect on this server. Anyways. Okay, for the time being, let's do the failover first. It's trying to come primary on node 2. Yes, it came. Fine. And now if I connect, it should work. Okay, from node 1, it should not connect. Because this is the proof we are able to connect prior. Now it should not connect. -m, as expected. So now what we missed, since we are on multi-subnet, what we missed is we have to go to the missions, SQL 1, and go to your networking card and select the network interface. And here, if you remember my previous classes, I added one more IP.
Yes.
So I came here and I clicked on add IP and I've given the name for SQL and Windows. So I'm doing the same thing for first I will do for SQL. So just say SQL listener. What is that IP what I have given for SQL? It is 11, I guess. So 10.1.0.11. So this is the IP what I have given for my SQL listener. I'm showing you if you don't configure, it should not work. I mean, it has to be configured for it to work as expected. Let me go to SQL 2. Even what I'm doing, even for me, this is new, guys. Trust me, I didn't do this. I didn't practice this at all. SQL listener. It can be any name. So, but just I'm giving the same name. So it is 10.2.0.11. Okay. After adding, should I successfully saved? It is not asking for restart. Okay, let's give it a try and see if that works. So I added it now, baby. Will you allow me to connect? Yes, it has to. Once you are good with basics, I think we are fine. Select that server name, go. SQL2 is primary. Now I will open my another window and file over SQL cmd -s SQL1 -u alter availability group. Group name is AG test. Failover. I'm failing it over to node 1 from node 2. Okay. So it got failed over. Let's connect. It should show me as SQL1. Yes. Let's try this from node 2. Control C, CLS. Okay, I didn't type anything. Select @ server name. It should show me node 1. Even I'm on node 2. Fine, guys. It works superbly. You're done. Very happy. I didn't encounter any issues, luckily. Any questions? I'm so happy. At least from my end, I'm happy. I don't know about you guys, but I'm super happy.
We need to review it again.
Yeah. I mean, it's on a larger scale. I can understand because, see, it's the combination of multi-subnet. That's why I didn't use load balancer. That is the first thing you have to understand from SQL, and I'm saying. And the second thing, establishing the trust across the domains. That is also a new thing. And third thing, is there anything? I don't think so. Yeah, these are the two new things.
But these two servers are related to multi-domain on the Azure only, right?
Yeah, multi-domain in Azure. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't have any on-prem to replicate. So this is completely Azure VMs. So I configured multi-domain always on Azure VMs.
Yes.
So this is not there in our classes actually, but I thought of doing this. As I said, this is my plan. Since I established trust now my plan is I will go here and I will create virtual machine. This time I will select Windows 10 as the OS, Windows 10 or Windows 11, whatever it is. And inside this Windows 11, I will create the Oracle VirtualBox and I'll create the machines and I'll create the domains and see if I can able to establish the trust between the virtual machines inside my
current server.
Windows 11, yeah, and to my outside machines, which are part of Azure.
Yeah.
I can do this on my machine also, like Oracle VirtualBox. I have to do this from my machine, but I don't know, somehow my capacity is 32 GB RAM. But if I start working on machines, it is dying. It is really crying and it is getting shut down automatically. I don't know where the problem is. Of course, I do have Postgres, Oracle, everything on my laptop. So maybe because of other softwares and all. Instead of that, I will try to do this here from here because this is the best way, ideal way. This should be the right way to mimic the on-prem environment.
Yeah.
If I'm not able to, at least there is one more option. That is what I wanted to try.
Yeah, by creating it inside the
inside the
Azure server.
Azure server. That is the only option what I left with. And I think last time we completed point to site only. I didn't talk about site to site. So tomorrow I will complete site to site connectivity. Any questions, guys? So I know it's like bit clumsy, or I don't know what to say also. But I am really excited to see that multi-domain is working on Azure VMs because it's not there. There's no article to follow on the internet to do this. And something I wonder, and this multi-domain support is there from 2016, but no one has written any article like how to create the trust and how to do all these things. If I can do this, I will get n number of viewers, I guess if I post this on YouTube.
Maybe you can have a one session.
Yeah, maybe I can show them. Balaji and Adams. So any questions?
No, see, I'll go through the videos again.
Yeah, I think I just see. Don't feel bad, guys. The third part, DAG part 3. I uploaded as restricted. I just wanted to see whether you guys are really going through or not. That's why I just kept it
I
as
got it.
restricted. Yeah.
When he asked for the permission,
Then only
just
I
I got
will.
to know.
So then I will come to know. Okay, that guy is interested in learning. So that is my intention. So don't feel bad. So I just
No, no,
wanted to.
Ramesh.
Yeah.
I got that, but actually the thing is, there are serious, you know, right? What from my here, what it is going on for me.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's
so I will stop the recording because we finished. Any questions?
until unless we read all these things, then